technologies. And I'll take you on a little journey and on my experience before I introduce our crackerjack panel here. So I started with Blockchain Australia about 3.5 years ago. And at that point, we had mostly blockchain and crypto members. Now we have insurance, universities, government, we talk about NFTs, Web3, we've got law firms, agtech. I could go on. And then on the other side, we have the anti-crypto conference that was held 2 weeks ago. Did anyone hear about the anti-crypto conference?
Yeah.
So it's online, it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. They had heads of government, they had universities from different countries, really high profile people talking about crypto, blockchain, no use cases, it's all a scam. So we look at that side and we realize we've got a lot of work to do. So today, that leads me to convincing you, which probably we're in an echo chamber right now anyway, I do recognize lots of you. It takes me to a conversation with women who are working on use cases in various intersecting technologies and industries. So I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves. Lots of times women don't stand up and talk about themselves. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to you, Danielle.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Marie. I am the CDO of Soltero Web3 Learning and their head trainer. We delivered accredited courses on emerging technologies, so the diploma and the advanced diploma of applied blockchain. And education is so critical to be educating these, anti-crypto conference. I wear many hats. I also am the founder of All Things Blockchain, which is a nonprofit association that offers free education and networking events. So if you're not already a member, please go and join that and tap into that community. And I'll pass it over to you, Marina.
I'm not sure if my microphone is working. Okay, excellent. Hi everyone, my name is Marina and I'm tax co-founder of a company called Tax. We are the first crypto-only accounting firm in Brisbane. Over the last 4 years, I've been applying my knowledge and experience helping many taxpayers to drive better tax outcomes for cryptocurrency. Over those years, my team learned a lot of hard lessons on how to solve crypto tax. And we are looking through, digging through the legislation, literally looking how to apply our old world legislation to crypto world on a daily basis. We definitely done it all. We worked with investors, just starting with a simple crypto activity. We work with digital currency exchanges, liquidity providers, brokers with millions of transactions. And the problem was bigger than us. And this is why we released Sila. Sila is our software product, and it is designed for Australians only. And we go through all pieces of the tax legislation to find every opportunity how to help Australians to save on crypto tax. With Sila, you get the best and the lowest crypto tax. And I'm going to pass microphone to Alyse.
Thanks so much, Marina. Hi, I'm Alyse, and I do 3 things. So the first thing I do is I'm head of Web3 at Palo IT, a global software development and design consultancy. So I work with a lot of clients building NFT marketplaces, tokenization of real-world assets. And the second thing I do is I'm co-founder of a DeFi project called Transhumankind. So we fund science and technology projects that help us overcome limitations of human biology. And thirdly, I'm also co-founder of Future DAO. So we are an investment DAO and we invest in tokenized climate and healthy longevity projects. And I pass it on to Jessica.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Jessica. I am part of the marketing team at Elevate Cryptocurrency Exchange. I have a little bit of a diverse background. I have a background in the film and television industry, and that actually led me, funnily enough, to data analytics of all things. So I'm a data analyst with a background in film and television. So my passion for that combined with marketing is all about communication, communicating Web3, communicating blockchain to the the wider community as it comes more into the mainstream. I think the importance of effective and proper communication and education is where we need to be. So that's my passion. I think all of us are.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm one half of the Crypto Fairies. We started a brand built on kindness, so we're just trying to bring compassion and empathy to the blockchain. So creating a different world moving forward because we do have this new industry to shape. So we started our brand built on kindness to spread that moving forward. So I wear many hats. I'm also known as Tinkerbell online, and we have the fairy godmother. And we try to spread magic on the blockchain. So we're trying to make it fun and whimsical so everyone can have maybe a smile and a laugh and a bit of glitter in their life.
Thanks, ladies. You're all amazing. I'm going to start with you, Marina. So the first known form or system of taxation happened in the ancient Egypt. I might be wrong. Yeah, I just asked people this question. Around 300 to 2000 BC. So we're pretty ripe for tax revolution. Let's all celebrate that. So that makes accounting sound fun, doesn't it? Just a bit of a party around that. Can you tell me, how has it been to apply modern form of taxation to a very outdated system?
Yeah, thanks, Amy Rose, for the good question. I would say it's been fascinating to work across two worlds that collide. One is the rules of the accounting and tax legislation, and another one is innovative blockchain technology Web3 projects. And just to give you a perspective, our Income Tax Assessment Act is drafted in 1997. And this is the most recent version of one that we have. How do you think? I think they didn't know about cryptocurrency in 1997. So clearly there were updates, but the main legislation, the core of the system is quite robust for the old type of investments and not for the cryptocurrency really. So that's what we've been working with. My favorite example is personal use asset exemption, for example. This is like a good one because technically your gains could possibly be exempt, and historically we would think about personal use assets such as your washing machine or fridge or electronics, and now it could be also your investment like cryptocurrency. I find that fascinating development in tax. And there are a number of these kind of examples where we still, technically all taxpayers still standing in the forest, in a dark forest, but there is a little light out there, which is like a review of the Board of Taxation, where we're hoping to get more clarity and better fit for a new asset class.
Thanks so much. Jess, I'm going to go over to you. We did just take a little stroll through history, so I'm going to continue on that little stroll. So the London Stock Exchange was, I think it was launched in 1801. So they need to be hit with the innovation stick too, okay? Can you tell me, I mean, I'm talking about custody and being your own bank and that sort of thing. Can you tell me a little bit about the different types of exchanges that we're looking at now?
Absolutely. So there are exchanges that enable fiat to crypto. The most widely used exchanges, as I'm sure most of you are very well aware, are centralized exchange models. So they operate quite similar to banks and the stock market. Their popularity makes a lot of sense because it's a very familiar model that the world is used to. We've been using banks for a very long time. We're quite familiar with it. Albeit holds a global patent around a non-custodial exchange model, meaning that we operate similar to like an eBay, for example. We escrow the fiat and the crypto gets transferred straight from the wallet of the seller to the wallet of the buyer, and we do not hold your crypto at any point during the transaction process.
Thank you. Danielle, this is an education question. I do get a little bit lost when we talk about some of the different types of exchanges and taxation. So we do need some education moving forward. So this is a two-piece question. Will our children and our grandchildren be educated in the metaverse? And if so, what will that look like?
Yeah, good question. Technology for me is definitely the way of like where we're going with education, and I think that the whole pandemic really kind of forced students and teachers to adapt to this remote style of learning. And the metaverse, a lot of people kind of think of this metaverse as just a gaming application, but it has a lot of potential other opportunities and can really help the education sector by creating these immersive learning experiences. And research studies have shown that traditional ways of learning, when we go and we read a book, we only actually obtain 5% of that information. Same research studies have shown that when we're creating an immersive experience and using like augmented reality and virtual and getting students into this, it's gone up to 75%. So there's a lot of different, I think Winkyverse is like one company that's out there that's actually applying AI, blockchain, robotics into their educational programs. So we're still a far way away, but I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with the metaverse. And I've actually partnered with TCG World, and we're building an education hub inside of the metaverse. And we're going to be hosting, learn to earn games, live tutorials, even accredited courses. So I'm really excited to see what the metaverse is going to bring.
Thanks, Danielle. Molly, I want to talk, look, I see a bit of a utopian theme happening. Can you tell me a little bit how we might combine altruism with NFTs and your perspective on the future of this space in general?
Well, the basic definition of altruism means selfless concern or benefiting another. Benefiting another at your own expense. So like in layman terms, you recognise this as charity. And how can we combine NFTs with altruism? Well, it's sort of like combining NFTs with charity. So in my society and my generation, I feel like we look at charity nowadays as something that I can't tangibly see. If I give money to Red Cross or something like that, I can't see where the money goes, I can't see where it's broken down into. With smart contracts, you can actually transparently see where all of this money is getting diverted to. So we'll be able to market to a new age of individuals that will be able to connect more with maybe not such a financial or a money view standpoint, more of an art and creative standpoint. So maybe they connect with a virtual world, or maybe they connect with a creative story that benefits a charity at the end of it. It's not necessarily just going for a charity. So it really enables us to open like heaps and heaps of avenues to a lot of different people now with the altruistic nature. Like it's a way of marketing it with philanthropy and ownership as well, because you get that NFT, so you have ownership of something as well as you're giving back while receiving. So I feel like that's the way we can combine the two.
Thank you. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of action happening on the blockchain and other distributed ledgers. One of the conversations that we've probably all heard is that blockchain isn't so good for the environment, so that impact is under scrutiny at the moment. So Alyse, can you tell me what your viewpoint is, and if you've got an opposing one?
Absolutely. So I like to think of myself as operating in the industry of ESG impact or sustainability. So I'm also part of the UN Climate Change Committee in Australia. So there's a lot of backlash against Bitcoin specifically and its impact on the environment. So my view is that it's actually quite good for the environment because it drives clean energy adoption as well as the build of clean energy infrastructure. And there's a lot of research out there to prove this. So there is a white paper out there that's written by Kathy Wood, Jack Dorsey, and endorsed by Elon Musk, which says that Bitcoin is driving up clean energy adoption and build. So not only that, you also have a lot of blockchain networks you can use, which don't have very much impact on the environment. So we know that the merge just happened about 2 days ago, where Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake. So it means that its carbon footprint is a lot lower. And therefore, that argument that it's not good for the environment isn't as strong anymore. But not only that, it's not just about lowering the carbon footprint, you also have neutral carbon footprint or even negative carbon footprint blockchain networks like Algorand and even Hedera. So I believe Hedera, they're saying that they're carbon negative and they probably buy carbon credits to offset any impacts they have on the environment. And of course, up to about 58% of Bitcoin is mined using renewables. So since December last year, 58% was on renewable energy, and some of that was actually mined using excess capacity energy, which would have otherwise been wasted anyway. So I'll just paint out this picture. So in Texas, there's a lot of oil drilling, a lot of oil fields, and there's a lot of gas leakages. So usually they have to burn this gas to get rid of it. So what they're doing is they're using these gas leaks or gas flares to mine Bitcoin instead. So you've got a lot of these large companies like Exxon and ConocoPhillips, some of the world's largest energy companies, which are using this excess capacity to mine Bitcoin or even renting this out to Bitcoin miners. So all up, Bitcoin is actually very good for the impact and sustainability industries.
You should save that for the debate that we probably have in the next hour or so. Thank you. Look, we're going through a new paradigm. Put your hand up if you have crypto. Put your hand up if your accountant has an understanding of it. Okay, I guess around 50%. So there's a gap. Marina, do you have any advice for any of the people who might not have a crypto savvy accountant?
Okay. Yeah, I can start with history, like a little bit of history. I remember in 2019, people would come asking us for advice if they actually should be paying tax on crypto. Luckily today, in 2022, we do all know that yes, the answer is yes. So the conversation shifted, and now we don't have that question if anyone has to pay tax. It's more that we are talking how to save on tax. So I do give a lot of advice around how to optimize your tax and actually make sure that you don't overpay. And the reason for that is that in Australia, tax could be as high as 47% if you're on a high tax bracket. And that's basically the main impact on your crypto wealth. So you do have to be careful, and my main advice is like using the software is great. So it's good we have a few versions of different softwares on the market. However, you better talk to the professionals and also select the software that is designed by professionals, because that's the one that will give you accuracy and the lowest tax obligations.
Can you name some of those pieces of software?
I think everyone can select what they prefer.
I think there's a couple out there as well. I guess. That's what it is. Sila. Okay. All right, so there's a gap. There's a gap in education, but there's momentum happening at the same time. So we're going through a skills shortage at the moment. It's very, very obvious. The talent is going off seas and whatnot. So Danielle, can you tell us how we might fill that gap being in the education space and how to bring more people on?
Yeah, so collaboration is key. We need governments, businesses, communities, organizations all working together to pioneer some new ways of delivering education and training. And it's really important also for small businesses, large organizations, to be thinking about upskilling their current staff and engaging with training providers that are offering education in emerging technologies, such as like the Advanced Diploma of Applied Blockchain, which is a course that is very pragmatic, and it's about teaching people how we're going to use emerging technologies such as blockchain, AI, machine learning, how we're going to use that information to trigger, to be fed to oracles, to trigger smart contracts. And we can create these really disruptive business models. You see Uber came in and disrupted the taxi industry. We had Airbnb come in and disrupt the hotel industry. Well, now we're working on creating business models that are going to disrupt those industries, and businesses need to be taking the time to invest in upskilling their staff. So I think that's really, really quite critical. And we're starting to see it more and more. From a couple of years ago, when I was trying to talk to organizations, they didn't want to have a bar of it. And now we're getting organizations reach out to us and willing to invest and teach their staff, because it doesn't matter what industry you're in. So how any people here in marketing? Yeah, you could learn about blockchain and get a job in Web3, any lawyers? Any lawyers in the office? No? Oh, no. Oh, she just put her hand up a little bit. What I was basically just trying to Web3 and emerging technologies can be applied to every industry, so organizations really need to be upskilling. And the one that has noticed that we have a skill shortage, and a lot of people don't know, is that blockchain strategists and project managers was added to the skilled migration program at the end of 2019. So any internationals here in the room? Well, if you are an international, you can actually come here and study these emerging technologies and go through skilled migration. But what that's showing is that the government is trying to attract talent here to fill those skills gaps.
Well, I'm pretty optimistic anyway, because when I came here yesterday, I was pleasantly surprised at the signal we sent, having 3,500 people in this room, and there was, for the first time, a line up to the ladies' toilets, which was also really good to see. I digress. So I got into crypto because I wanted to be sovereign. I wanted to be my own bank. I was just craving for that independence. And I think a lot of us are moving towards that general direction. So Jess, I want to talk to you about that idea and being your own bank, or having that full custodianship over your assets. Can you tell us a bit about the ability to do that?
Absolutely. Self-custody in itself is having complete financial control over all of your assets. And what that translates to in the crypto world is essentially having full control of the wallet that holds those assets. And the original thesis of Bitcoin was to create a decentralized financial system. So moving away from the large, powerful entities that perhaps aren't as transparent as we would like them to be. Platforms such as Elevate enable people to enter the world of crypto and to own their assets fully in their own wallet and not exchange wallets. So having that self-custody is just incredibly important and for everybody. And it should have, it's all about equal access to opportunity, equal access to finances, and that's where it really starts.
So it's about being free. It's about owning your future. Along the way, back in the day, I imagined artists, musicians, for some reason, they were free as a bird, they're on the beach, they're painting, they were so happy all the time. My mum is an artist, she's still being an artist, but she never gets paid for it, and it just becomes something that's being pushed to the side and go to university or something. That's changing now that we see an intersection of creatives and technology, which, I put myself in the future as fuck, but I didn't expect that. I definitely didn't expect it so soon. So on that old paradigm, I've since learned watching the music talk yesterday with Ocean Floor. What happened along the way to artists, Molly? And at what point did they stop owning their assets? And when did it become where we are now? And why do we have to implement technology so that they have the rights to their own IP?
So obviously as an artist myself, I've struggled with being able to be financially secure and being able to embrace my creativity. And I feel like in society that shouldn't be, there shouldn't be two options. And like you said, the plight of the artist is something that's known by all. And when I joined this industry, seeing people like Beagle, like obviously the $69 million NFT sale that he had, even there was another artist that worked for Nike called Chad Knight, and he released images and got really popular, but he hadn't been recognised before for his works. So basically, when these artists get signed on their contract, and like the prefix of con is a contract is con, they obviously didn't get enough rights to their royalties to their music and to the stuff that was sold further on for it. So even if you take, for example, most really popular concerts, they will sell on the second-hand market before the concert's even gone 60% of the time. But no one gets any royalties from that second-hand sale. So with NFTs, you can get a royalty if you haven't had the Metaverse concert yet, if it has been traded because the ticket's so expensive or so wanted by people. So that technology and that freedom is given back to the artist by having the royalties initiated by an automatic smart contract. It's not left in the hands of any big guy or any corporation. It's left in the hands of a computer that just automatically has no emotion about it. It's black and white and just does it. So it enables this future generation to be able to maybe have more freedom and control over their money with what they produce and what they create, because creativity is just so important moving forward.
I'm super excited about it too. It's taken this long. How are we going for time? Crazy. I want to know from each of you, what is the technology that is going to knock you for a sixer in your industry? So what is going to impact you the most?
I don't think it's arrived yet, to be honest. So when I teach in my class, I teach applied blockchain, but what a lot of people don't realize is that blockchain is just a distributed ledger technology. It's a form of distributed ledger technology. So for example, Hashgraph that you spoke about earlier, that's a type of distributed ledger technology. So I'm really kind of excited to see where we're going. Has anybody heard of soul-bound tokens? I like how fast your hand went up. You know, I think it's great because, you know, a couple of months ago we weren't having this narrative discussion of a non-transferable token. So yeah, I don't think it's here yet.
In terms of tax and accounting, I think the next what I can see is counting on us is data quality through the API connections will be improved. We just had interesting discussion yesterday with my team at the dinner that it's really need a standard because all different digital currency providers provide the information in a different data set. It's all confusing and not perfect, let's put it that way. And sometimes CSV expert would have one set of information and API connections would actually have something that is missing in CSV and vice versa. So it's inconsistency, right? And I think the experience of the taxpayers will improve, so it will become smooth. I believe in a one-click report.
It's AGI, artificial general intelligence, and that will just impact everything in general. So if we're looking at blockchain, it will just write all our smart contracts for us without any human input. And because it is artificial general intelligence with human-like sentience, it will want everything codified. It will realize that everything is so much more efficient and better when everything, even including the law, is just codified.
I feel like I prefer not to look at it as the things kind of on us and our asses, and more to look at it as what is the next big challenge? What is the next area that we can focus on to kind of flip the narrative and see where we should be focusing on? In terms of my industry specifically, I would say that we're currently being bottlenecked in a little bit of a issues with private keys and management of private keys. But I have to agree overall with Danielle. I don't think it's arrived yet. I think we'll know when it arrives. So yeah, I'll pass it over.
Yeah, just expanding on what Alyse said, AI is obviously going to write a lot of things for the future, including like algorithms for social media. So with our crypto fairies journey and switching that algorithm to more of a kindness-based than a fear-based method, not only the algorithm and the AI, we're going to have to work with actual human beings too, because actual humans create the data sets for these AIs. So we do have to upload them with information for them to use that information to go forward with. So the humans that upload that information have to be mentored in the right direction, because they are going to socially impact people moving forward in society. So yeah, I think that's really important too. Humans still really important.
The question of the humans' input, knowing that we have a skills gap now, but then also machines will be filling a bit of a skills gap. Can any of you comment on how we're going to tackle that next stage, where we're not really in a skills gap anymore because we've just got these machines to do the writing and the research and the building?
I think that's where creativity comes in, because if you can't occupy yourself, I don't think there's such a thing as boredom, because we have a human mind, and it's always like, we always want to just find something new to explore or discover or learn or teach or mentor or tell someone about. And I feel like there's enough as humans that we can coexist together, and I know it sounds a bit utopian, but I do feel like humans are meant for so much more than stacking shelves in a supermarket. Like, I believe in humans more than that. So I just do believe moving forward, humans are going to be more as a, we think we might be lower than the computers, but I feel like we're actually taking part of our time back, because time is currency and it is so precious. So if you do only get one life, why would you not want to explore all of your avenues rather than standing in a halogen globe filled office for 8 hours a day? Yeah.
I think it's exciting. I think it's going to open up completely new possibilities. And like you said, who wants to spend the day stacking shelves sitting in an office? Like, that's the next stage of our human evolution, where humans are better than that, where all of those mundane tasks are going to be taken care of so that we can explore our next level of potential. We can do those as an actor from the creative industries as well. I completely resonated with everything that you said. It's just that next stage. We're going to have time to create. We're going to have time to innovate. We're going to have time to think. I think it's, again, I flip the narrative. Don't look at it as a negative, look at the positives.
We need to upgrade ourselves. So I know Amy Rose is working on a brain computer interface company. So eventually we might have to actually upgrade our brains using some sort of implant, just so that we can keep up with the machines. Otherwise, we may actually have different classes of people. Those who choose not to upgrade and those that do.
Reminds me of a movie. I think that there will be a job in the future where people will be teaching AI to classify transactions. I think bookkeeping is something that can be automated. Once we know input, we can program them.
I think that it's really important that we have a discussion and a narrative around the integrity and the ethics in the AI. Because everyone's talking about how AI is going to do this and do that, but people have to program it. So it's just like a smart contract. Who's coding your smart contract? Where's the data coming from? Garbage in, garbage out. So I think that we need to be focusing on how are we trusting this AI, and we're going to need humans to be able to do that. Are we going to trust the machines to trust the machines? So I'm interested to see where that goes, and I've actually just started studying the third diploma that we're going to be offering in 2023, which is around applied blockchain with merging with machine learning and AI. My brain is just exploding. Even just listening, I'm learning from all these ladies, and hearing about how AI and machine learning is going to be used. It's just, it's mind-blowing.
And on that note, does anybody have any questions?
So I would have just added to the thing about input in and input out, that the point that you're making is that all of our fear-based stuff is really around money, because money is the way we survive. And as we have more and more competition with more and more people, then unless we, which is I believe the reason crypto was created, change the dialogue around money, there is actually a continuous flow of money. So it's much more about changing that input thing around the fear base. So it's more about changing the way things are monetized, which is where the NFT thing, the gaming thing, some of those things have come in, have been so novel in creating money out of nothing. And I think we need to continue as crypto people to think more along those very creative lines. So I kind of put that to all of you to think about where you see them at new areas coming in from a disruption of money itself point of view.
Thanks, Sam. Do we have any other? We have a left here.
Hi, I'm Natasha Arons. I'm an immigration agent. So I'm very familiar with the skills shortages. The question I have with you ladies is about government policy, really. Just think about it. Just going to give you a few examples what I experience on a daily basis. So obviously there is an AI that monitors who arrives in this country. It's very well written because it knocks back within 3 seconds a decision on a particular person from a particular country for a particular age group. And it's unreal. As an immigration agent, I experience it on a daily basis. I literally press the button, transact the fee, and the visa is refused. It's unreal. So the question that I ask, obviously, is we had 2 years when the borders were shut. So the government just went and said, right, nobody's going out, nobody's coming in. The same with Chronobank. They had to take all their stuff out and work overseas with their crypto projects and things like that. So to all of you, how are we in the government, what are we doing as an industry with the policies?
I think Amy Rose is actually the most qualified to answer that question.
I think that government need to keep their finger on the pulse. I think they need to engage with industry and Blockchain Australia. We have a new CEO who's in this room. Laura, would you like to stand up? If you are interested in conversations like these, please go and speak to Laura. But yeah, I just think that everyone needs to jump in, whether you're in government, whether you're a small business owner. If we are not united, our perspectives, our viewpoints will be diluted. So I think we just need to band together.
That all right? Yeah. Talking about the AI and the input, I think, well, I agree that that's probably a key area, because if we look at smart contracts, nearly everyone is flawed in some way. There's some bug that people are able to exploit in nearly all smart contracts that we see. If we're going to have AI taking over, we want to be pretty sure that those inputs are flawless, because we've all seen far too many movies to know what happens when AI gets out of control. So I think that...
What's the question?
Well, the education side of it, is that going to be a major focus moving forward, do you think? The implementation of this AI and how the regulator controls on it?
Yeah, I definitely think that it needs to be a reason. Alyse might actually have a bit more any insight on the AI kind of sense.
Well, there's an AI ethics framework that was released by the government and several governments around the world. So, in principle, I am a software developer by background. When I'm doing any AI projects, do I follow any principles? Not really. I'm using these API services from Microsoft and Azure, and I'm hoping that it's sound. I mean, the algorithm is sound, but it's also the data that we feed it. So are we careful in the data that we feed it? Well, I guess we try to be, but we don't do this rigorous back testing on whether it's going to spit out unethical answers or anything. So I think we actually need better testing tools in doing that rather than just some sort of framework that's on paper.
The AI audits soon, just some smart contract audits. Kia ora, just understanding that the changes that we're going through, and I understand that we're trying to formalise the nuts and bolts of this mechanism going forward. How soon, or is there any consideration of it going into our education system for our future of our children? I ask that because at the moment we currently, we have our children involved in what we do and teaching them the basics. So when we hear what's happening in the bigger scale of governments and things like that, is there a foreseeable future that will come into the education system? Yes, but the education system kind of moves at the same pace as the government. They're very slow. So we just have to take it upon ourselves. And I've actually had this discussion with Amy Rose before, like, I do a lot of things, but the next thing that I really want to focus on is the children and how can we educate them more. There is a School of Bitcoin. They're doing, where are they based? Up in Agnes Waters, and they have like Electra. Anyone?
Digital Playhouse, there's Electra here.
Can you just stand up for a moment? Anyone, if they have children, School of Bitcoin, go and speak to Electra. So they're doing some really cool things. So I just think we have to take it upon ourselves and start and just keep having those conversations. It's like the never-ending panel.
Okay, and that's a wrap. I would like to celebrate the women on the panel and the women in the room.
Yeah.